media availability. It's an opportunity for you all to ask questions. It's a big day. It's the first day of the 126th legislature. We're not going to roll out any grand policy yet. Expect that in the weeks to come. But Senate President Alfond and Speaker Eves will kick it off, and then for questions that are appropriate based on committee or area of expertise, the rest of our leadership team will speak.
Great.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you all for coming. Clearly this is a big day for the legislature. All of us being sworn in, I want to congratulate Speaker Eves. It's really nice. I look forward to working with you. Clearly, the media is very interested in our priorities for the 126th. And like Erica said, we're not going to be rolling them out today. But we do want to talk about some areas of priority. And these areas are no surprise to us, and they shouldn't be any surprise to you, because over the last 6 months, year, we've heard from constituents all over the state of Maine. They first want us to get people back to work. That's what I spoke about. I'm sure that's what Speaker Eves spoke about. They also want us to address the skills gap that we've been working on for the past 2 years, that we need to continue creating a big, big focus on the skills needed for the jobs of today and tomorrow. And then reducing the cost of healthcare. Clearly that was a big message that we heard from constituents across the state of Maine. Healthcare costs are rising for small businesses, for rural Mainers, for those that work in different types of professions. We talked about finding common ground today. It is going to be critical, not only with our Republican colleagues across the aisle, but with the governor. And the governor and Mark and I are going to work together. We're going to find common ground because we are partners. We are the majority party. We need to pass budgets together. We need to pass bonds together. And we will find common ground just like we did in the 125th. And so I look forward to working with my colleagues in the House. Congratulations to both of you. This is a good day for the state of Maine.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, thank you. I think we just concluded a really important event and a start to our relationship in the 126th legislature, and I think that we did that on the right foot. There is a recognition and understanding in the House of Representatives in Maine that we need to work together, that our problems are too big to solve alone. And today was a good indication, a good start to that process. We are willing and wanting to be partners with the governor. We certainly want to work on some of the big issues that Senator Alfond, President Alfond, I should say, outlined for us. And we really do have a spirit of collaboration. We do understand that many people sent us here to get things done, and the jobs and economy, building our middle class and strengthening our economy is the #1 job. We feel like there's plenty of common ground with Republicans to get some things moving in the right direction. So how you begin a project, how you begin a relationship, often has everything to do with how it ends, and I feel like today is a really good start in the legislature. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes. Maybe this is a good one to start off with. Will you gentlemen take a pledge to keep yourselves open and accessible to the press, easily available for interviews, that sort of thing?
I think the Democratic Party has always shown an unbelievable spirit for transparency, sunshine laws, and of course, we are doing the people's work, and we look forward to working for the people in the absolute best way that we can, so that the people can understand what we're doing. So yes.
Is
Good
that
softball question. Yes, that's great.
It's actually it's a hard question. Is that true on the House side too?
Absolutely. I would echo what President Alfond said. Access and transparency.
So we will be able to talk with you pretty freely.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, for the last 2 years we had to fight to talk to you all. Now we're pretty excited. Come on, Max.
What were your thoughts on Governor LePage's initial comments? You said it starts very important to show how it finishes, but already there's some friction, it seems like, from his comments this morning.
We look forward to working with the governor. I look at his end message and what he wants to do with us. He said that he will work with every single one of us to get stuff done. And that's what I took away from his swearing in this morning.
Likewise, I mean, that's what we need to focus on. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to focus on the wrong thing. The right thing to focus on right now is what the common ground is. And I can't agree more with what part of that message we're going to focus on.
What about the budget itself? The shortfalls in both main care and the overall budget, you guys are inheriting a big problem right off the bat. Are you supposed to tackle that? What's the thoughts on that?
Well, with any budget, we need to actually see the specifics. I mean, right now, we're just talking about big numbers. They're not numbers that any of us, I'm sure, are comfortable seeing, and I'm not excited to actually see the details, but we will tackle those, just like every budget that I'm sure we've all been a part of since we've been part of this institution. But we need the governor to give us those details. That is his constitutional responsibility, and as soon as he gives us a supplemental budget, we'll have our appropriations committee ready to work and work with the other side to make good decisions for Maine people.
I would just add that clearly the current revenue shortfall is an indicator of a sluggish economy, and that's why we are so committed to having a real true follow-through on what we heard on the campaign trail, and that is a nearly exclusive fine point focus on jobs and economy, because this is a perennial issue that we deal with, and I think that we do have some opportunities to address some specific things so that we're not back here in the same place.
Are the tax cuts passed by the Republican legislature 2 years ago, are they on the table, in particular the cuts that were made to upper income people?
Most likely.
I'm going to speak generally about taxation first, because I think it's important to understand what we're bringing to the conversation around taxes. Democrats believe that we need to move the economy forward from the middle out and not from the top down. We believe that all Mainers deserve a level playing field, and we know, because economists tell us of all political stripes, that when working people, middle-class people have money in their pockets, the economy is stronger. So that's our focus. Our focus is on the economy. To the extent that tax policy is part of that budget conversation, we'll be there to make sure that those values and that understanding is present and strongly a part of any future budget.
What are some of the first changes you see happening to Maine Care? You talked about healthcare a lot. What are some of the things there that you would like to see either change or be improved on?
I think we do truly have a real opportunity right now. What we have been talking about over the last 2 years is how the largest costs within our Medicaid account, Maine Care, are attributed to 5% represent 55% of the costs. Broken down even further, 20% of Maine Care recipients account for 89% of the cost, and that's no different in private insurance. It's just a healthcare system delivery, cost of care issue that we need to focus on. And the way that we do this, and the way that we get smart about this so that we're not back here, is really focus on those high-end cost users. And that's the way you bring down the cost of care and how it impacts on the state budget.
Any other questions?
We're hungry. This is
One
Oh,
more
man,
question.
come on.
Yeah. Back to the taxes. I've mentioned to several of you by email anyway that New York Times has been running a series on tax breaks in the various states. Very good investigative series. Now I'm wondering if that also is on the table in terms of tax policy. What we might look at in terms of breaks. Maine comes in among the top 10 states in terms of giving breaks, for example, to businesses. And
That New York Times series is excellent. I commend it to everyone in Maine and around the country, and it really looks at the national picture and how we make sure that our tax breaks, loopholes, tax expenditures are working for our economy. And the fact is, in Maine and in every state, there are ways in which we can do better. So it is a priority for us to find ways to do better. Having said that, I think certainly in the policies that we've brought forward so far, Democrats have supported certain tax breaks, tax credits, what have you, in order to build the economy that we do feel are working and to help our small businesses. So we want to be judicious. We need to ask the tough questions and really go through a thorough process before we can spell out specifics.
If I could add something to that. The real key here is not about tax break, tax credit, is making sure our public dollars are held accountable, no matter where that is across the state budget. And we know that certain tax credits have a job performance indicator that's in the positive. We have to recognize that. But at the same time, there are others that are falling short. And it's our job to make sure that we identify those and move forward. Because as Representative Berry said, we have to build our economy from the middle out. But that being said, we do have to recognize that there's opportunity and gain, and we have to hold every taxpayer dollar very much accountable.
Anything else? Does that help?